Previously on Knight's Quest. Aboard the Kaiserion, a brodering ship, Zataar, the crew's vencer, and Kariin, his sister, the runesmith, found a stowaway, a troll girl named Ticket. They brought her to Captain Flynn, a Draconi, who decided she could stay for now. Meanwhile, Chor, the crew's navigator, a pale orc, spotted an enemy ship off the starboard bow. It was Splendiferous Finch. After being unable to tone down the situation, Saoirse the elf, who is also the crew's beastmaster, prepares their taniin, their great sea monster, for battle against Splendiferous Finch. So, batten down the hatches and tie down the mainsail, because it's time for an adventure here on Knight's Quest. Welcome back to Knight's Quest, everybody.
Okay, that was unexpected.
Yeah, that's not the tone I expected you, of all people, to take at the beginning of this.
Guys, welcome to our exciting fantasy role-playing podcast. We're just gonna...
I'm 2 G&Ts deep in this recording. Let's go, boys.
It's gonna be like a big battle or something. I don't know. Who knows? Anything could happen.
Anything can happen, guys. Welcome to Knight's Quest.
Just roll with it.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna roll dice this time. We're a lot more than last time.
Is that really how we're starting this episode?
Apparently.
Wow.
Do we want to do over?
No, we can't.
Do a mulligan?
We can't.
It's not allowed.
Folks, you've gotten to know us now very well over the course of 2 episodes. This is who we are. You either like it or you don't. You're on for a roller coaster of a ride.
You obviously do.
You obviously do, because you stuck into episode 2.
This is not enough. You made it. This is not enough of a sample size to say that people know us. I don't want people to get the impression that
they're our best friends, they're our family.
That 90% of our humor is just pretending to be quietly drunk. I don't want to give that impression. That's not the whole story.
Anyway,
we got a story to tell. The crew of the Kaiserion is now going to fight Splendiferous Finch.
Did we name his ship?
No, not yet.
Ooh,
we can. Let's do that right now.
Oh, it is the...
I didn't even tell you, all of the names that I have.
Well, keep them secret. Keep them special. I don't want to spoil them.
The Happy Accident is a good one.
I don't think Splendiferous Finch would like that.
The Mean Streak.
I do like that one.
The Multicolored Merchant is one that I am very near and dear to.
Ooh, that could be... I kind of want Splendiferous Finch to have named his ship, a name that's way too long, 6 or 7 words or something.
Yes. I like the multicolored...
The Multicolored Merchant?
But it's only one color. It's only teal, which is why it's funny.
It's just 2 shades of teal.
I think we called it the Bedazzled ship.
We did.
That's true.
Is that just what it is?
That's a really boring name, but that would be funny.
I think here's how it is.
Yeah.
Everyone calls it the Bedazzled ship. Yeah. He has a different name for it.
Right.
But no one will let him finish saying the full name of the ship.
Oh,
it's always longer. Okay, how about this? Every time Splendiferous Finch references his ship's name, it gets longer. He adds more to the title.
You have to keep track of this.
I will. I will set this challenge for me.
Okay,
you are holding up a bar with weights on it, and you are actively adding more weights to it. But you know what? You do.
And looking at us saying, and we're like, okay.
So we're gonna start with the Multicolored Merchant.
The Multicolored Merchant, yeah,
is how it starts.
Dumbbell. That's the word I was looking for.
It sounded like that's what you were calling Nathan.
No, all I could think of was a bar with weights on it. And I was like, that's not right.
Also.
The crew is getting ready for a taniin battle. Saoirse's in the Beastmaster station.
The Beastkeeper. Maybe it's just
Beastkeeper balcony.
Beastkeeper balcony is a little too many syllables. Maybe it's just the taniin.
The taniin zone.
Taniin zone.
Too late. I said it.
Oh, okay.
We gotta follow our rules.
That's not good.
You must remember our first rule of this podcast. Every joke is canon. And if you say something seriously, that doesn't mean anything. If you say it as a joke, that has weight. It's the taniin zone.
But I've established Saoirse as the kind of character who'd be really into calling it a dorky name. So she has to be excited about this.
Oh, yeah, she loves the taniin zone. So she's down gross. In the taniin zone.
Time for me to make my way to the taniin zone.
Have we started the episode yet?
I think
yes,
so.
This
right?
is all
how much of this has been recorded?
All of this.
Okay.
All of this is in, including this raw, unedited
great
file.
Saoirse yells back to actually get the scene kicking. She yells back, Young Ticket, any other day I'd be glad to introduce ye to our fair beastie, but today you may see something even more special. You get to see the taniin in action. And from the taniin zone, can the other crew members see her or not?
I would think if she's underneath, like, the bow a little bit, I don't think they can see her very well.
All right, then you don't see what she does yet.
Makes sense.
I think they hear something from under the waves. So it might be very faint yet, but they do hear something. What do they hear?
Like something coming up from under the waves?
Yeah.
Ooh,
it's a sound like
a burbling.
Like whale noises or like...
Oh, you want like the creature's noise?
I don't know, I'm just spitballing here.
Jake, you pick the sound that it makes and I'll pick what it looks like.
Love it.
All right, here we go. This is the sound I'm going to make now.
Yeah. On a really, really big scale, that would be creepy and intimidating.
Yeah, can we add some bass to that?
Oh, we can put some reverb on that.
Boom, 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 boom. Almost like the water's like collapsing in on itself as it's...
Yeah, it's like a heartbeat in the ocean. It's something like that.
So it's rushing upward. It's kind of making the water like concave around it. Oh, you know what that makes me think of? That makes me think of like pistol shrimp. You know how they can like snap their claws so fast?
Keep explaining. I'm not familiar.
So what we see is a crab-like creature kind of comes up from the water. One claw is just huge, just thick, a giant claw covered in mollusks, but also like brightly colored too, kind of like a bird of paradise, just like vibrant colors. The other claw is more sharp and bladed and can move really quick. And then it has multiple eye stalks that can shoot really quick too as well. Like they can close over their eye as like another form of attack. I don't know. It's crazy. This thing is...
That's wild.
This thing is bigger than the ship is.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
okay. Yeah.
It could very easily crush the whole ship within its large claw. But it rises on the starboard side, right past the starboard.
You gotta.
In between them and the bedazzled ship.
Captain Flynn is barking orders from the helm. He's, Kariin, drop the anchor. Chor, if I don't see a rope in those hands in 10 seconds.
And Chor, who had been taking his first level scoping stance, kind of like,
oh my goodness,
unstances, like unlounges, and just like grabs a rope and is holding it.
I think Captain Flynn, he like picks up his trident again.
Oh my goodness.
He furl the sails, Chor.
He's like, yes, Captain. And he starts, and the rope he was holding, he like pulls it a little bit more and realizes it was the correct one. He's kind of like giving him grief. And he starts furling the sails so that the ship doesn't keep moving. Kariin drops the anchor, but she does it by not like manually dropping it, but there's a stone section of the ship, like on the deck with a huge engraving in it. And she slams her foot down on it, which you now notice is barefoot. She doesn't have any shoes on that foot, on her right foot. And when she slams on it, the engraving glows a little bit, and you can see like some like dust falling out of her pant leg, like kind of onto this rune. And as it glows,
no, Jake's face was really funny as you're describing this.
I'm just really curious for this.
I'm making stuff up, okay? I'm gonna make stuff up.
Okay. Yeah. She's got a dusty region in her pants.
She's got magic dust, and it's stored in her pants.
Okay. All right. We're here now. Anyway, when she does that, the anchor drops.
I love
the ship. Yeah.
But it all happened really fast. It didn't happen as long as it took to describe it.
No. She slams her foot down, the anchor goes down as the rune goes up. Shut your mouth. Shut it.
It was really cool. I just didn't understand that one detail that you chose to include.
Don't worry about it.
This is wild for Ticket. She's just learning a lot today. Like, you drop the anchor by magic dust to the pants. That correlates to the anchor somehow. This is how broderings work.
And anyway, on the other side of the little fighting zone, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
We see the bedazzled ship, and now their taniin rises, and it's gotta be just as bedazzled as we've claimed.
Oh, okay.
It's a cuttlefish.
It's a cuttlefish.
I should know what that is.
They can change the texture and color of their skin.
Oh, it's this thing.
So it's octopus adjacent, though.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah. Think squid, very small tentacles.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I've seen
what rises
these,
from the water then is start with Kraken, right? If that gets you there, with lots of tentacles and a beak in the middle. But I want to picture these tentacles. They're not like, oh, I have 8 main tentacles. I think this one has dozens of tentacles, but of different sizes. So it's got some main ones, but it's also got a lot of small ones that kind of act like feathers or hair on this creature, that it then, as it rises from the water, also just with a cacophony of not thunder, but like reverb coming from the water as it rises quickly, because it was deep underwater. Now it's risen up, and as it emerges from the water, I think it takes one of its larger tentacles, kind of brushes all the smaller ones, kind of like quickly style it and change the color of them as it does to kind of create, almost mocking the Kaiserion's taniin by matching its color pattern of its large claw with its hair, and kind of styling it in like almost like a greaser would style their hair.
This is more personality I expected from these creatures.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, from Splendiferous, certainly. I'm absolutely not surprised that he has a taniin that takes the time to style its hair.
Style its tentacles, yeah. We're now gonna have to do some fighting, some dice rolls and some fighting, and so the two taniin kind of square up, they kind of face, get closer to each other, and it's time for some all-out brawls.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how this is going to work is, for any taniin fight, the Beastmaster is going to be the one who rolls for the taniin.
Love it.
Because of the one who's controlling it in this moment.
Okay.
So let's just get a first nice roll out of there. I'm going to say that you guys go first because we described them coming out of the water first.
Okay.
Alright, so I'll have you roll for husbandry, which is one of the skills. So in Knight's Quest, you got your main stats, and then you've got different proficiencies under them. So skills is the main stat, and then husbandry is the skill under that. And we'll go difficulty 3, I think.
Alright.
I think Splendiferous isn't going to be a little baby at the beginning,
Yeah. Got...
Take down my creature, my beautiful bestie.
Oh my goodness.
Who I call Reggie.
Not beastie, bestie.
My beastie bestie Reggie.
Yeah.
I've got a success, but I have 2 disadvantages.
Okay, so success with 2
2
disadvantages.
disadvantages, yeah.
My favorite kind of roll. So you're going to be successful in the move that you have your taniin do.
Right.
I'm assuming it's an attack roll.
It is an attack
Trying
roll.
to attack it. Okay, so you can describe how it attacks, but there's going to be 2 consequences. I'm going to say one of them is you're going to leave yourself open for Reggie to attack you. So it'll get a boost towards his next roll.
It's really Reggie.
Yep. It's named Reggie.
They don't call the taniin up like every day or like super often,
No.
right? Yeah.
No.
So I think she says, it's been too long, Chipper. It's good to see you again. Now, go for its eyes. And then Chipper is gonna just take a big ol' swing with that claw you described.
The big one.
Yeah.
Great. And is it going just for a smash or is it going for a chomp?
Chomp, I guess.
Yeah, it goes in for a chomp, and I say it's able to like chop off some of the many tentacles that are just flowing around.
Okay.
Deals some damage to Reggie, and I think as the tentacles here's one of the disadvantages.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll do: is when the tentacles are chopped off, they continue to live for a while.
Ugh,
so now
that
there's
is
a bunch of these
uncomfortable.
like smaller creatures that are kind of swimming without their own a ton of motivation. And I think Chor sees this, is like, guys, I think we've got got some other pests in the sea. We might need to help Chipper out with these.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that they're a problem?
Yep, they're a problem now.
Huh.
Okay. Because they're gonna
wiggle on him.
They're gonna wiggle on him. Okay.
Well,
all right.
They might wiggle on the ship. They might wiggle on Chipper. We don't know.
Oh boy.
So I'm saying is if other members of the crew want to do something,
Okay. Got it.
All right.
they can't.
Ticket asks, when the taniin fight, does one usually die? Is it that dire?
Oh well, most of the time. I mean, you don't want your taniin to die, but if you back down, then you usually got to pay in some other way. You got to give some of your treasure. You lose some respect, or you definitely don't want to lose. Usually, by the time the taniin are out, you're already pushing it, right? Usually, we try to resolve this before this gets to this point. A lot of times, it does die, but a good beastkeeper will keep the taniin alive and know when it's time to forfeit, because losing that sucker really puts you in danger. Speaking of which, I do need to go do something to keep ours alive. So, excuse me, I'll be right back.
Okay.
He rushes down the ship. Does anyone on the crew want to do anything?
Ticket wants to do something. She just has no idea how to help. There's a lot of writhing tentacles in the water now, which is terrifying.
Yeah. Multicolored tentacles.
Yeah.
I think I'll have Reggie go. Reggie's going to make his move against the ship.
Against the ship?
Oh, excuse me, against Chip.
Okay.
Yeah. Against us is what I meant to say.
Okay.
I'm going to say Splendiferous he's not manning Reggie as much as he wants to say he is.
Wait, hold on. So he's the captain, the Vance, and the Beastmaster?
No. He said he's not.
He's not.
Oh,
he's
okay.
not. He's not the Beastmaster.
Gotcha.
As much as he wants to be everything in the ship, he
tells
he's
people
not.
that he is.
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
It's
like
a boost.
2 people on his crew.
Yeah. Okay, he just has one success. Just one plain success.
Okay.
Everything else washes out. So I'm going to say what happens then after Chipper goes in and chops off some of these tentacles. It's a slow swing, right? So it takes a while for it to recover.
Sure.
And in that process, Reggie's able to get a bunch of the tentacles and kind of wrap them around the large claw and kind of holds it apart. Kind of like how you crack open like a lobster's claw.
Oh my god. Okay.
And is like working to do that, and so it's putting strain. So for sure it's hurting Chipper. I don't think it successfully destroys the claw, but it's definitely like cause pain to it and is holding it back at the moment. All right, let's go to the crew of the Kaiserion.
How big are these tentacle pieces?
I'm thinking like they're little dolphins swimming in the water,
Gross.
slurming around.
Okay.
There's like a bunch of them.
Yeah, so he kind of yells to the boat. It seems that Splendiferous has graciously offered us a meal. Kariin, prime the cannons. For those you don't hit, grab some harpoons and take them on board. We need the sustenance.
Oh, we're actually gonna make these into food. Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Waste not, want not.
Kariin's like, yes, Captain. And she runs below deck to where the cannons are on the starboard side. You know what? I'll have that be her turn. We're not really doing any particular order. Probably,
Right.
That's the thing in Knight's Quest is you can roll up an order, but we just want to play. We're just going to play, ref.
Let him cook.
So she's going to do one of her unique moves.
Oh,
so every
here we
character
go.
has unique moves.
All right.
She has one called Cannon Fire.
Love it.
Which is her enchanting ability. And I'm going to say this is not very difficult. So just 2 to do it under the stress of the moment. And when you use unique moves, it uses up some of your resources. So each character has expendable resources for strength and intelligence and all these things. So for the magic, it's called Drainable Psyche or DP. So she's going to use up one of those. Under the captain's orders. Oh no. She failed with 3 advantages.
Okay.
So I think what's going to happen is she runs down to try to prime the cannons, but as she does so, she gets below deck, and all the cannons are lined up on one side of the ship, and they're not like the cannons that we think of with pirates, nice smooth metal tubes, but there's this like clunky large apparatus with a bunch of different stones and rune marks on it. I think there's a couple like weird like tubes. Picture like steampunk invention, but like magic and like stone. It's very clunky, and there's a couple of them on the side of the ship, and as she goes to try to like pour in some of the enchanting dust and try to start pressing the runes in the right order so that it can be working, one of the rogue tentacles hits up against the ship. And so she spills some of the enchanting dust, and she's like, dang it, And so she's unable to load the cannons. Right. But I think she has 3 advantages, so that means something big can happen. I think what happens then is she is able to activate maybe a different mechanism on the ship. And I'm just going to say that maybe they have a big net.
Sure, yeah.
I have something. Yeah. This is definitely taken directly from the Sinbad movie, but I think it is something that does exist. Maybe like blades can like come out of this, like spring out of the side of the ship. Their main use is for latching onto another ship, like binding 2 ships together if we're like boarding and trying to take stuff.
But in this case,
maybe they either fling some tentacles away or maybe skewer them.
Yeah, so I like that. So in the process, she's unable to activate the cannons and prime them so other people can use them. But instead, some of the rune dust falls on the area for the spring-loaded side spears, and she gets an idea to do that instead. And so she activates those runes by kind of, again, putting her bare hand on it, where the rune dust has already fallen and it glows, and these spikes and spears, are they more like hooks?
Yeah.
Okay.
These hooks jut out from the side and impale a couple of the tentacles on them as they're railing about, but they can't hit the ships anymore. So I think that's taken out the rogue tentacles, will be the 3 advantages as we've created a new thing for the ship. All the tentacles have been stopped, and we've caught them. So like we can keep them. Jamie, let's get back to you. Sure. I think it's time for
Saoirse?
Chipper.
Chipper's not feeling so chipper.
No, he's not doing great. Is it considered like a dishonorable low blow to have your taniin attack the ship?
Yeah. So that's like kind of the whole point. Right? Yeah, the whole point is that the taniins are fighting each other.
Yeah.
If the other taniin is gone, then usually the other ship will surrender. Yeah. So to have them attack the ship is very taboo.
Yeah,
very
I don't
taboo.
think you do that. Yeah. It got a pretty good hit in on him. I'm gonna see if I can like do the Knight's Quest equivalent of like disengage and like get a more defensive stance.
Sure. Yeah.
How would that look like? What would that?
Yeah. Roll your same stats and stuff.
Okay. Same.
We'll say difficulty is 3 again. Yeah.
Same roll as last time. Success.
Great.
1 disadvantage.
Again, my favorite so much.
It is your favorite.
It is my favorite because it's the most spicy storytelling option. So yeah, Chipper's able to get out of the entanglement of those tentacles that have been wrapping around it, is able to back up, defend itself. It's got its big claw in front, and I'm thinking it's got the like sharper claw kind of like angled above, like ready to attack around the larger one.
Okay.
To kind of like keep itself protected.
Right.
So I'm going to say that if Reggie tries to attack, it will have a setback.
Frickin' Reggie.
Because but there is a disadvantage, and so, what could be the problem?
There's still those other tentacles in the water. They're
the ones that just aren't near the ship.
Yeah, they're like.
Oh, there's a few more over there.
Pulling at his he can't fully focus on just Reggie because he's got like other tentacles.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about this? On his next move, he will also have a setback.
Yeah, sure.
Because the other tentacles are just like pulling him from below, which is kind of like flailing around, distracting. I think at this point, Chor has climbed up to where Zataar is, and he says, "Hey, I thought I'd come up here and get a better angle just to view
for my scoping.
For my scoping, it's time for some level 2 scoping, guys. Here we go." On the crow's nest. Here we go. Almost level 3, pretty much.
You just didn't want the captain to see you doing nothing while the sea beast was doing its thing.
Okay, you don't gotta call me out like that, man. Okay, like it's.
No, listen. I'm not harshing your vibe or anything. I'm not calling you out. I'm not down talking you. Let's call it what it is. Okay.
You know, I gotta appreciate you. You're good with your words, man. You're good with what you say.
I hope so.
I mean, I guess it wasn't as good as usual. I mean, we are having to fight today.
No. Hold on. No, I don't think that was my fault.
What is this?
Well, I mean, you're the Vance. You're the verbal fencer of the crew. It's your job to.
I definitely won that. Are you saying I didn't win that?
Well, I mean, you definitely had the roast in. I mean, you definitely perturbed Splendiferous for sure, guy, for sure. But I mean, we're fighting, so that I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like what you were trying to avoid.
Vencing is a 2-way street, man. I can do everything on my power to do the right thing. But if the other guy just wants to have a fight, like, it's not like we're not going to pull our taniin out if they're going to pull their What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, I've seen you do better. I've seen some hot-headed folks, and you calmed them down and had them give us their money. You remember that time? That was a good day. We got the whole crew to give us all their money when they had their magic cannons pointed at us.
Are you complimenting me or insulting me? I don't understand.
A little bit of both.
Why did you come up here?
I just don't want to be downstairs right now, is all I'm saying.
Okay, well, you can be up here, but don't, do whatever it is you're doing, because it's not great.
Anyway, we'll go back to the fighting.
Yeah. I have a question about Ticket. So, when we were putting up stats, Ticket had a 2 in magic. Can I just, cast a spell? Can I just do that?
Yeah, you got spells.
Can I just decide that Ticket has, some kind of low-level spell?
We're making stuff up.
Yeah. Even though she doesn't fully understand all the nuances of what's going on, she can see that, a bunch of tentacles in the water is bad news, so I think she's going to try to launch a spell at them. But what is the spell going to be? It is going to be a fireball? It's just a low-level kind of fireball type thing.
Okay, what does she use to cast the spell?
What does she use to cast it?
Yep.
There needs to be some kind of conduit or item?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I like the idea of her having a ring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it perhaps in the shape of a dragon?
Well, so here's something we gotta remember.
Okay.
All magic
Is clunky.
is clunky. There's nothing efficient. There's nothing smooth.
Yeah,
So
totally.
if you've got a fire shooting thing, it's gotta be alright, let me get it out.
Okay, so not a ring is what you're saying?
If it is a ring, it's gotta be a whole gauntlet, if anything, so not a ring.
I'm down for a gauntlet. I didn't know that was an option. Let's do this. That sounds awesome.
Okay.
And it's really hard for her to carry it because she's not the strongest person physically, and it's really bulky, and it just goes over left hand. It's some kind of metal, I'm not sure what, but it's got a red gem in it, but it's not a super shiny, perfectly cut gem. It's kind of broken and faded and old.
I think to activate it, so there's a bunch of, again, the magic all here has got runes, so from that gem there's little etchings and stuff, and I think to fire it she has to slam the top with her right hand to shoot the fire from it, I think.
Absolutely, that's exactly what happens.
Let's have her roll spellcasting.
Let's have her roll spellcasting. Okay.
For her fire gauntlet.
Fire gauntlet. That gives me 2 green. What do you want the difficulty to be?
I think it's a 2.
I love to hear that.
I don't think the tentacles are that tough.
She's trying to fry at least some of those tentacles that are in the water. Success with 2 disadvantages.
We love to hear it.
I do.
She's able to hit some of the tentacles that were still rogue in the water that hadn't been caught by the hooks. I think at this point there are no more tentacles by the ship. I think she gets the last ones from that.
Excellent.
With 2, though, how mean do you want me to be in episode 2 of our little show?
I don't know what you mean by that. Are you saying that Ticket is gonna die?
Yes.
No, not that mean.
Then
you gotta roll an
what are you
for
asking
that.
me?
I'm gonna guess she's not an expert at this device.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, probably.
So I think she's able to shoot it off. All right, the problem with the tentacles is solved.
Yeah.
But she's not able to turn the fire off quick enough.
Oh, no.
And accidentally sets something on the ship on fire. So now there's
That's
a
not
fire problem on the ship. It's not the whole thing, but I'm going to say that there is maybe they got a spare sail kind of on the main deck there's some fabric that's on fire. So we'll figure out how to deal with that next.
Yeah.
I got a thing.
Go for it.
The captain, seeing this, vaults over the railing down to the main deck with his trident and starts spinning it. He's going to use a move called channeling, which his trident, it calls calls the seawater up, and he's going to use it to put out the fire.
Ooh, so it summons the seawater in to him.
Oh, awesome.
So that's going to use DP?
Yeah, probably.
What would you consider that?
Let me ask, is the magic coming from within him as a draconi? Is it coming from within the object, the trident?
I'm going to say it's coming from the trident.
Then it's going to be spellcasting.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to say this is a pretty slick spell for the trident.
Well, yeah, it's going to be important later, I assume.
So it's
Nice.
one of the few slick magic items.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Yeah. I like that. I think that I'm cool with there being a few things that are not clunky, but then it has to be that's important.
Yeah.
This is not clunky magic.
And also, not necessarily super helpful, all the time.
Sure. It can move the water.
Yeah, it moves the water, which we are in.
Yeah. Okay, so roll difficulty 2.
Okay.
Because it was 2 disadvantages.
Righto.
3 successes, so success and a disadvantage.
Okay, great. Yeah, you're able to put out the fire. You kind of create your own. Is it like a little tentacle of water? Is it a little blob of water? How does it move out?
Yeah, it's like a directed wave. Yeah, I suppose like a tentacle. Like it comes up out and splashes onto the deck.
Yeah, okay, great. And then 1 disadvantage?
Yeah.
I think then the water splashes, puts out the fire, no problem. But I'm going to say that the splash is a little bit too much. Like the water runs off and is going to push Ticket to the edge. It doesn't knock her overboard because it's just 1 disadvantage. But I'm going to say it kind of slams you up against the edge and you are going to be kind of teetering.
Oh,
kind of
that's
almost
not good.
fall off. So we'll resolve that in a second.
Oh, lordy.
But let's get back to the taniins.
She's 1 step closer to the edge and she's about to break.
Don't push
That's
me,
right.
because I'm close to the edge.
That's right, exactly. So I'm going to say it's now Reggie's turn.
Okay.
It's going to use I think Splendiferous. You hear him shout from his vencing spot. He says,
Well, it seems like I was right. Your ship is caught ablaze.
Ooh. Okay.
For a very brief time, yes.
And I think it's time to put you and your silly little taniin out of your misery.
Oh boy.
It's time to use my Bedazzle blast.
Oh boy.
and I think
Splendiferous Finch.
you hear Kariin shout from below deck, and she's like, "Oh, he better not be pulling out any of his rune magic." And I think you see that some of the gems on the side of the ship start glowing.
Is that allowed in a taniin fight?
No, it's not. It is definitely not. And you see his taniin like start to sink below the water.
Oh,
And
no.
he's now going to make an attack against your taniin, which is defended. So it's gonna be a setback.
Okay.
Defended by what?
It kind of like it went in a defensive position,
Oh,
so it was
gotcha.
like
Yeah.
ready. But he's going to basically have all of these bedazzled jewels on the side of his ship shoot lasers at your taniin.
Just shoot lasers out of his water ship? Of his
Chill.
pirate ship?
Of his
Oh,
own
yeah.
ship, yeah.
I guess.
And that's a triumph.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Are you kidding me right now?
In Knight's Quest, there's green and yellow dice. The green dice are nice. They're good. The yellow dice are really nice. So if you're good at something, you roll yellow dice. And they have what's called a triumph symbol, which is like a nat 20 if you roll d20s. Very rare. And if you get them, you can do something really, really cool. And, well, he rolled one.
Did you really?
Right.
I'm going to do the rest of the math here. And it just is the triumph. So it evens out perfectly. So it's a success with the triumph. So I think what happens is, even though our good old Chipper is in a nice defensive block,
Right.
Splendiferous Finch cheats. He cheats hardcore.
That is not ideal.
And he just shoots from multiple angles. And I think that the taniin is fierce.
Right,
and so I don't want to have it goes down without a fight. But, you know, its giant claw does put up some resistance for a while. But I think one of the lasers, because there's multiple, comes in at a different angle, right? That the claw isn't able to block. And it causes Chipper to kind of flinch a little bit.
Right,
and more
right.
of them come in. And the smell of roasted crab reaches the
Gross.
crew.
What a horrible way to describe that. Yeah. And you hear Saoirse yelling, "Belay, Chipper!" And it's sad. It's really
You
sad.
say belay?
Yeah.
Like come back?
I think it just means like, well, I thought it meant no, get away, but I could be wrong.
That sounds right.
I think it means like cancel that last or something. Like when you tell somebody to belay that order.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll have her say something else.
I mean, that's what it can mean for her.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, like return, belay.
Yeah.
It's an elvish thing, you know?
Sure. Specifically pirate elves, yeah.
Yeah. Brodring elves. Yeah. So I don't think that Chipper's dead, because I think that'd be kind of crazy to kill him off with one dice roll.
Okay.
But I do think the fight has clearly been won. And so I think Reggie pops back up with all the tentacles and starts moving in. What does anyone do to try to stop this?
The captain, like, quietly to Kariin says, "Ready the cannons."
Yes, Captain. And she's gonna rush. I think she's already down there, right?
So that's a move. Captain's orders.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, how does that work?
So that if you are directly following the captain's orders, you get a boost to your following roll. If you are disobeying the captain's orders, you get a setback to your next roll.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so she's gonna try again to ready the cannons. Oh yeah, that's gonna be much better.
I want. After that happens, I want Saoirse to yell out, "Bad form!"
Oh, for sure. So I think it looks like we've got, it's 2 extra successes at the end.
Ooh,
so she's
okay.
able to, I think it's a couple of motions, right? It's not just one slam this time because the cannons are more complex.
Right.
But she hits a couple of the runes, starts charging them. And I think there is like a whirring sound that you can hear on the ship when the cannons start to heat up. And so she primes them all up. And I like to picture once she's primed the cannons, anyone else can now use them.
Okay.
During the encounter. So it still requires some aiming and then an actual like firing. But they're all magically ready to go.
Cool. Captain's gonna like grab one, like both hands, level it at the taniin.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Like the whole time just screaming curses at Splendiferous. Just like, "You salt-sucking coward!" Like of that ilk.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they require any ignition to go, or like once they're ready, they just go.
Yeah, they're readied.
Yeah, he just lets loose a volley.
Yeah. And how do we want the firing motion to be? Because they're runes. Is it a punching? Is it like a plunger kind of action? Is it like a crank? What is it?
I really like a crank.
Ooh, okay.
I like a good hefty crank.
I can picture that.
So it's all primed and he just gives it a hardy
It's like a
crank.
circular. Yeah.
Yeah. And that releases some kind of magical mechanism within, that then I don't think it's like a hard cannonball that gets released, but I do think it's like a ball of energy, like a plasma ball that gets kind of shot out.
Cool.
So let's roll
Oh, damn.
for that,
Oh,
Captain.
excellent.
And I'm thinking accuracy for this sucker.
Okay.
But how's Captain Flynn's accuracy?
He has a check in it.
All right, he's a marksman. What's his
He's
dexterity?
been on the boat long enough.
Yeah.
His dexterity's 1.
Okay. So he's not very dexterous, but he can aim.
Yeah, that's what he's got.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
he's got
1 dice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's going to be difficulty 2 because the creature is close.
So why would that make it harder?
Oh no, I think you meant 2 instead of 3.
Yeah, 2 instead of 3.
I see. Gotcha.
I'm going to say that I think Kariin, knowing the captain, seeing him getting down there, because she just primed him, I think she's also going to kind of like help him. Like she's letting him do all the work.
Sure.
But she knows enough to like kind of like, if he's off, she can like adjust it a little bit from where she's at. So give him a boost. We'll see if he hits.
'Tis a success with a disadvantage.
Perfect. Okay, so he's able to hit Reggie with this plasma blast. So the cannon kind of like sucks in and like I think it cranks. It like engorges a little bit, then shoots. It's like a thunk, and this plasma ball comes out and like I think it kind of like splashes when it explodes. So it's kind of like when you like throw a water balloon at someone, and like the water kind of like curves around the object you threw it at. I think that's what this ball does, is when it hits, it kind of like crashes around it and then explodes. So it's like stretches and then blows up. So it wraps around the creature's face, head, and then explodes. But I think because it was so close to the ship, it kind of causes the ship to like rock back a little bit.
Sure.
It's not designed for this close of combat.
Yeah. Captain Flynn, he's got like one arm like kind of wrapped in the rigging, and he's still just screaming at Splendiferous. He's, "If anyone's going to be coming over here, it'll be you, Splendiferous, you silly idiot. You
Silly idiot.
Silly idiot.
Yeah. You're the one who fired that. You can come over here yourself."
And I think you hear Splendiferous say,
Oh, what? I can't hear you over the sound of being right.
Being right?
Yes.
Being right about what?
I'm the winner. I'm victorious.
Is he?
Only in the most technical sense, Splendiferous.
Now, I like how Splendiferous is in the vencing post, which can magically project his voice. And so that's how your ship is able to hear him. The captain is not. He is just shouting from below deck where the cannons are.
No, for sure.
And he's like, no, screw you.
Hey, how do I get Ticket back to safety? She's still perilously dangling over the side of the ship.
I think after this explosion, it's now rocked the other way.
Yeah.
So like she was leaning over the starboard side, and then the blast kind of flings her back.
Oh, good. Okay.
Back on, but like on her face.
Excellent. Okay.
So I think we're at a point where both the taniin have been very badly hit. I think one is nearly dead. I think Splendiferous is not doing so good either. These fights are pretty gnarly. I would say that ours is worse, though, for sure.
I think Saoirse would call him back.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I don't have to describe how she does it. I think y'all see Chipper, like, submerging beneath the water again to wherever the taniin go when they need to friggin' not
the taniin
be killed.
dimension.
Yeah.
And I think you hear Splendiferous laughing, projected over. He's like,
Oh, so then you retreat. Yeah. Another W for Splendiferous.
Did you say W?
They're W.
yeah.
I want Splendiferous to be like, let's go.
Let's go.
He just talks like a 2023 streamer.
I think you can see that though my taniin was indeed bedazzled and beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
That it is also the better one.
Zataar yells back, as in most things, Splendiferous, you are only half correct. Your taniin was not better, as your ship did most of the fighting.
Oh, you enjoyed the blast of our bedazzled beams?
No, don't change the subject, you little person. Listen.
Would you like to see it again?
Oh no.
The captain says, because he's not going to wait for the possibility that it doesn't happen. He says, Kariin, shield up now.
Oh, excellent.
And she's like, yes, Captain. And she walks over to, I think, one of the only other clunky magic devices we have on the ship, because they take up a lot of space, so we can't have too many. But this is one that is on the other side. Actually, it's in the middle. It's right in the middle of this below deck area that we have all of our magic in. And I think it's a vertical rod, like a large pillar, kind of in the middle with a lot of squiggly blue runes from top to bottom. And she kind of grabs it and like hoists it downward, kind of like throws it downward. And we'll roll that move as well.
Love it.
And see how that. Is this another captain's orders?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Because that would be great.
I feel like that's gonna be his main one.
Well, we're doing great. We got another triumph on this roll.
Oh,
Cool.
okay.
So let me just do all the rest of the math, see how that balances out there. So yeah, that one is a success with the triumph and 2 advantages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that triumph. I'm going to keep it for now because I don't think we need it. One thing you can do when you roll a triumph and you don't want to use it, you can keep it as an expendable resource later as a triumphant play for the future. So I'm going to do that with Kariin.
Otherwise known as TP. Of course.
Also call him TP. That's right. TP. So, because we still got 2 advantages on this. So I think she activates the rune, and as she slides it down, the pole itself maybe moves somewhat, but it's more so she's just activating more of the runes along the edge. And what it does is it's almost like she's thrown a plunger into the water. And what happens is a ripple emits out from the ship, and a large wall of water emits all around the ship, kind of surrounding it. It's called the tidal wall, and it stays upward to protect. I think with the 2 advantages, one of them is it's going to be extra high.
Okay.
So that way only the Vance nest on the top is visible. But also, one thing I decided to do if it ever gets advantages is it can sometimes like freeze up a little bit. So
cool.
It's extra thick too.
All right.
So this wall of water goes up around the ship and freezes.
Yeah.
Defending the ship from any future attacks.
Heck yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Oh, I suppose you do not want to see my bedazzled beams again. For shame, I shall have to show you another time.
You want to talk about shame, Splendiferous? What the heck was that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You just wait till the council hears about this.
Oh, you're going to bring this up to the Council of Captains. Oh, I'm shaking in my sparkly boots. Hey, how about this? Listen to me, Captain Flynn. I know you can hear me. You scaly bearded twat.
Oh, okay.
Got him.
I know you wouldn't go to the Captain's Congress, okay? You're too scared of what happened last time. So I'm going to go on my way to the port we haven't named yet. And I'll see you later, lizard brain. Suck on these.
And he starts sailing away.
Wow, how do you get that good?
Yeah, Flynn is, like, full rage. Like, he's, like, throwing things on the deck, like, shooting, like, fire into the air. He, like, slams the doors of the captain's quarters, and there's just clamoring, like, muted clamoring happening inside.
More stuff being thrown inside.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the crew maybe gathers back on the main deck. Chor's like, well, that could have gone better, for sure.
I want to say that Saoirse is not there yet.
Okay, she's not there yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my own quick roll for something. I rolled one green and one purple, and just to see what the aggregate would be. And I think Saoirse does come back. Is everyone? Did you say everyone, including the captain?
I don't think not the captain.
Not the captain.
I think he's in
okay.
his quarters. Everyone else is there with ticket.
So Saoirse does come back, and she looks a lot more somber than last time. And I think seeing the crew gathered around, she nods at Zataar and she claps Ticket on the shoulder and says, well, you've seen your first share of battle at sea now. It only gets more exciting from here on out. And then she turns to the others and she says, I've got some news I need to share with the captain. And she heads back over to the quarters as well.
Oh.
So it wasn't supposed to go like that.
What was supposed to happen? What's the Captain's Congress?
It's just a group of all the Brodrin captains who make the rules about what's cool and what's not cool.
And that was not cool.
That was not cool. Very much not cool. In a taniin fight, it's just supposed to be beast on beast. You don't get the ships involved unless your taniin's already dead.
That was disgusting.
Wow.
Yeah, Splendiferous is we've kind of been messing with him for a while, but he's never stooped to that level before. I mean, that was...
What did he say about the captain not wanting to go to the Congress?
Oh, yeah, I think that has to do with this was before you were on the crew. Let's just say it. Last time we went to the Captain's Congress, it did not go well for Captain Flynn.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't even know if he would want me to tell you what happened, is all I'm saying.
This sounds like a power play. This sounds like something that somebody would go like, "Oh, I don't even know if I can, divulge this to somebody who hasn't been on the crew as long." I mean,
I think Kariin kind of like jabs at him. He's like, "We have been on the crew for like 4 years. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we haven't been on the crew long enough for you to be able to tell us, okay? Like, we're all one crew here. I think we can find out what happened."
It is at that moment that the captain comes back out on deck, and he is definitely cooled down. He's steaming a little bit, like actually
There's
steaming.
actual steam coming up.
Yeah, and he says, "As some of you may have guessed, we've had a loss. A rather expensive loss. A loss that we cannot afford to stand by and take. We have to postpone our current heading. Crew, plot a course for the Maelstrom. We need a new beastie."
Thank you for listening to Night's Quest. Our next episode will be coming out in 2 weeks on July 7th. If you can't wait that long for more Night's Quest content, you can head over to patreon.com/KQPodcast, where you can support us and get access to an episode that answers the question, how did Ticket get on the ship? Thank you to our current patrons, especially our Triumph tier, Lowell Long May He Reign, Mike, and those dang high elves again. You can join their ranks and get access to that special episode for only $7. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you next time.
And I think maybe you have to name ours Kingler.
Kingler?
Yeah.
Like the Pokemon?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's copyrighted.
Oh, you're right.
You can't name it after a Pokemon.
I don't need this to be the official name, but I do have what Saoirse calls him.